and welcome to Snews News. We'll be the hosts of the show.
I'm Dan Kasler.
And I'm Hoyt Bangs. These are your hot topics. A karaoke contest was held recently at Conestoga. In this contest, a device is used to play instrumental accompaniments for a selection of songs to which the user sings along, and that records the user singing with the music. Alex. As I was saying, it's a ritual that can be traced back to the Japanese from the word kara, which means empty. The word oki, short for Okasutra, or as we better know it, orchestra. Some of the selections of music you could select upon included NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, whose unique style of dance and singing are the least to say innovative. Their moves, professional. Dancers call a combination of new age and rock. And their singing, which linguists expert call lip syncing. And let's not forget about Dave Clark 5 with his song Tabitha Twitched It. Tabitha Twitched It, is it right, what I'm telling you now? The crew team of Conestoga had a yard sale last weekend. The proceeds of the event went to help the fight of AIDS. All members of the team brought in items they no longer desired to keep within their household. Such items included a Green Lantern doll, a Splinter action figure, and a hilarious John Goodman figure. Items at the sale were a high quality, high merit, and high appeal. It was a once-in-a-lifetime event for most, and others it was another wasted Saturday. All items sold at the sale except for Super Nintendo game Rocko's Modern Life and the 1995 sleeper hit Roommates starring Peter Falk, who plays a cantankerous 76-year-old Polish-American baker who insists, despite relatives' protests, upon adopting his young grandson Michael. A pilot line which even makes Steve Ree weep. But, be fair, Weekly Journal declared, "A work." But it's best seen the context of the entire sentence. The annual Miss America pageant once again begun. All contestants took the voyage down to Atlantic City for the competition. This is a contest in which a panel of judges judges the quality of a person due to her proportion, symmetry, and elegance, not to be confused with a quantum characteristic that accounts for the existence and lifetime of the Higgs particle. The selection is narrowed down from many contestants to that of just a few, a selection process that can be dated back to the era of Darwin. The winners glorified, the losers exiled, a barbaric ritual that has been occurring for decades and decades to come. An opposer to the pageant is Bert. A Canadian man who was not permitted to join the pageant due to his looks, gender, and nationality. This year, like all years at Conestoga, the administration has been vexed on the subject of the bee and brown wasp threat. In the past summer season, outside in the courtyard, there have been swarms of bees threatening the very existence of the student body. Many ideas of how to stop the threat were suggested, such as sprays, poisons, and modified mouse traps.
You're the man, Hoyt.
In response to the threat on their lives, the bees responded, "Ay caramba!" Students are warned not to anger the bee life at Conestoga. Such an action could result in the bee stinging the student with its stinger. This being a first priority situation, no pun intended, the administration agrees that this is much easier to deal with than last year's problem of king cobras.
For our weatherman, David, with not quite Doppler radar.
Welcome, I am David, the Snews News weatherman. this is not quite Doppler radar. The wind seems to be picking up from the east, and the barometer tells me the pressure is dropping, which I believe means a storm is a-brewing. A gentle rain is now falling upon me. I believe the winds will be picking up soon. We'll be checking on that later. Back to you.
We'll get back with you later. Let us check in with Sergio and Dan, who are setting up for their debate. Let's see if they're getting along.
Yeah, see, you don't have a cool nickname like me.
Sergio's already weird enough.
I'm Natru, a blue, blue. I'm a steady.
Are you Latin wonder? Why'd you go boil over there?
Now for a letter to our editor. Dear Snews News, my name is Jay Hillis. I was watching the first episode of your show, and a couple questions came to mind. First, is Ben Felton an actual person, or just a character of Snews News? We didn't see him at all in the show, and frankly, the name sounds kind of made up. Also, what does the S in Snews stand for? I've been trying to figure it out for the past couple weeks, and I couldn't come up with an answer. Does it mean school, stoga, or spectacular? Third of all, where does your funding come from? I notice you have no commercials during your show. How do you have enough money to pay for all the equipment and actors? Thank you for reading my letter. I hope you respond in a timely manner. Sincerely, Jay Hillis. Well, Jay, let me answer these questions in chronological order. Your first question about Ben Felton is simple, yet complex to answer. In a few words, yes, but in several words, no. It is a topic that requires an entire segment devoted to it. Secondly, the S in Snews News stands for snooze. Yes, it is a never-ending loop of infinity. If you are not sure what infinity is, maybe these examples will help. The fraction 2/3 in decimal form, running in a figure 8, and what happens when a snake swallows its own tail and keeps on swallowing. For more on infinity, here is Dr. Epson.
Comrades and fellow scientists, I am Dr. Epson. Today we'll talk about infinity. Infinity has a simple equation. 6 football fields times 6 football fields times infinity. That's right. Infinity equals 6 football fields times 6 football fields times infinity. Infinity equals infinity. How can this be true? Ha! I have fooled you. This is all a fabricated story. But what does this story have to tell us? Infinity can neither be touched nor seen. Some believe you can touch it, but as a scientific view, I say you cannot, making this whole story a paradox. What kind of paradox? Exactly a paradox. I am Dr. Epson, and I have made no sense. And goodbye.
How very interesting. Let's go back to David now. David?
I'm back for Snews News, not quite Doppler radar. The rain is now coming down at a steady pace. The barometer is going crazy. It's down to 26 millibars. I don't know what this means. The winds are now picking up. What seems to be swirling all about, and the clouds, I don't know what they're doing. They're just moving and moving. I don't know what this means. I'll get back to you later when I know more.
That doesn't sound good. Those are ideal conditions for a tornado. We'll see if we can't convince him to come back into the studios. Hoyt?
Every week there's a topic that not all of us agree upon. And that's why each week we have a debate. This week with Sergio and Dan. And I was your mediator. Shall we begin? Good afternoon, I'm Hoyt Bangs and we're here with Mr. Nitro and Mr. Sergio to debate on different topics. Do you like 1980 or 1970s more?
Definitely 1970.
I'd disagree, my friend. I like the 80s.
Why do you like the 80s?
Well, number one, I was born.
So was I, but I don't like the 80s.
Number two, hip-hop was created. Number three...
No, it was not in the 80s.
It was.
Late 70s.
Yeah, but that was only a
70s.
song, and it was over disco.
Why don't you go wear your
more.
tight clothes somewhere else? You know the 70s rule.
Should I do a dance?
Water versus air.
Water.
Air.
Air is not even scientific. It's a name.
So?
Water, you got H2O. H2O.
Air, you got A-I-R.
And is there anything scientific about that? All right.
There are many chemicals
Please
in there,
explain.
aren't there? Air's just not like right here.
All
Are you
right.
feeling this air?
All right. Do you prefer the Mustang or the Zebra?
Zebra.
Mustang.
My God. Wait. Zebra. Now it doesn't get any better than black and white and big and African.
Mustang is fast. That's why they named the car after it. One of the top selling cars. Thanks. I win.
You wait till they come out with the
I
zebra.
win.
Wait till they come out with
let's
the
see
zebra
the
edition.
zebra car.
You wait.
Okay.
70.
Would you prefer to have a Snickers bar or a Milky Way?
Milky Way.
I'd have to say Snickers bar. It pumps me up.
Don't really
Well,
care.
the Milky Way
Don't really care.
the Milky Way gets stuck in my mouth, but this kid doesn't care.
Don't really care.
He doesn't talk clearly anyway.
Don't really care about the peanut buttery taste.
All right, whatever.
But the Snickers does not have nuts. Actually, the Snickers does have nuts and the Milky Way does not.
And
I don't really care for nuts.
In my Snickers.
yeah, me neither.
But you like the Snickers, Mr. Nitro.
Yeah, Snickers is definitely better because I'm.
You changed your story? What? You changed your story? What?
I was with Snickers.
What? You changed your story? What?
I was with
What?
Snickers.
What?
I was with Snickers the whole
What?
time.
What?
Just like you're a Yankee fan, you fair
What?
weather fan.
Oh.
Anyway.
You want to talk about the Yankees?
No,
Hey,
anyway,
they're
the
making
Snickers.
playoffs.
Snickers is so
This is
much.
not making the playoffs. Nets.
Snickers.
What?
Snickers
What?
is so much
What?
better
What?
because you got you.
What?
You don't,
What?
Sergio.
What?
I plead you for my
What?
time.
What? I won.
No, you didn't.
Yep.
No way. All right, that's me and Sergio's debate, and I won obviously because the Mets are so much better.
Okay,
And even
yeah,
if the Yankees
who
are
won?
better, even if the Yankees are better, Sergio's a fair weather fan.
No, I'm
But it's
not.
okay.
If I started liking when
It's
I was
all right.
7.
It's all right.
May I bring in a picture?
All right, anyway.
Next week.
So this is
The
Nitro
show?
and Sergio saying
Nice
peace
show.
out, and
I don't say peace out.
I'm saying peace out. Let's go
You
Mets.
can say peace out.
I'm saying let's go Mets. All right.
That was very compelling. Every day at this school, something happens. Something happens that we aren't always aware about. The man that will make you aware this week is Ben Filton.
This machine on the constant football field, what is it? How will we know what it does? Does anyone have the answers? It's Toucan Sam! Toucan Sam, do you know what this is?
Well, Ben, that's only to water the grass.
Really? Just water the grass?
Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Toucan Sam. Well, that's it for Snews News Investigative Report. I'm Ben Phil. Good night.
That was Ben Filton. This just in, Ben Filton is fired. Let us take a moment to remember Ben Filton.
May the good Lord be with you down every road you roll.
Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Congressman or woman, we need to jump on the hydroelectric bandwagon. It's so good, it's just indescribable by immortal words. I mean, have you ever been to the Hoover Dam? No? You should go, it's a good sight. And they falsely used my name in the credit, said punchline, Ben Filton. Yeah, real clever, Dan.
Godspeed, Ben, for wherever your life journeys take you next. Now for Snews News poem, Birches, by Robert Frost.
When I see birches, bent to the left and the right, across the line of straighter, darker trees, I like to think some boy's been swinging them. But swinging doesn't bend them down to stay. Ice storms do that. Often you must have seen them.
Loaded with ice, a sunny winter morning. After a rain, they click upon themselves as the breeze rises and turn many-colored, and the stir cracks and crazes their Emmanuel. Soon the sun's warmth makes them shed crystal shells, shattering and avalanching on the snow crust.
Such heaps of broken glass to sweep away. You think the inner dome of heaven had fallen. They are dragged to the wither and broken by the load, and they seem not to break, though once they are bowed, so for how long, they never right themselves.
You see their trunks arcing in the woods, years afterwards trailing their leaves on the ground. Like girls on hands and knees, they throw their hair before them over their heads to dry the sun. But I was going to say when truth broke in.
So I was once myself a swinger of birches, and so I dream of going back to be. It's when I'm weary of considerations, and life is too much like a pathless wood, when your face burns and tickles with the cobwebs, broken across it and one eye is weeping. From the twigs having lashed across it open, I like to get away from earth a while, and then come back to it and begin over. May no fate witfully misunderstand me, and half grant what I wish and snatch me away, not to return. Earth's the right place for love.
I don't know where life leads to go better. I'd like to go climbing a bridge tree and climb black branches up a snow-white trunk toward heaven till the tree could bear no more, but dipped its top and set me down again. That would be a good bod going and coming back. One could do worse than be a swinger of the bricks.
Hello, and welcome to the Snews News interview. I'm here with Eric Hopkins. Eric, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
What a turning point in Eric Hopkins' life. What would it be? A turning point, like something that you will remember for the rest of your life.
I'm not really sure. I've seen a lot of crazy things out there in my 16 years. The fake Michael Jackson was on it. Cans and soda. Cans and soda.
So, is that the story in a nutshell?
That's in a nutshell, that's the story.
Well, wonderful story. Something I'll carry with me the rest of my life. Well, thank you for being here, Eric. It was a pleasure.
We have to add stuff on it. We have to.
Back to you. Thought-provoking indeed. Now for a final update with David. David? It looks like we lost contact with him. I hope he's all right. Now for on the lighter side. Pennsylvania's incoming governor, Mark Schwaker, took office recently in Harrisburg. He has the daunting task to fill the shoes of Tom Ridge. Many do not believe Schwaker will be able to run the state efficiently and is not qualified to take office. Let us take a look at his record. He was a former Bucks County Commissioner, former chairman of Delaware Valley Regional Finance, and a strong advocate of the Weed and Seed program. A strong resume indeed. The man who would be governor took his destined throne, and 2 nights into his term, on October 7th, Mark Schwaker announced his first priority as new governor of Pennsylvania. At a recent press conference outside the Capitol, the governor stated, "My first priority as governor of Pennsylvania is to begin the construction of a scale model of Pennsylvania." You heard right, a full-scale model of Pennsylvania. The governor went on. Ever since 1953, the American people have longed for a scale model of the state, and I will be the man who will bring it to them. An ambitious plan indeed. Possible sites for construction of the model are as follows: the Pacific Ocean, Russia, Wyoming, and Chinatown, Philadelphia. Construction companies and landscaping firms have been called in to produce an estimate of how much money it would cost to build all the buildings, plant all the trees, and create the Appalachian Mountains.
Snooze news.
Well, that's our show for October 5th, 2001. Thank you for watching.
I'm Dan Caslow.
And I'm Hoyt Bangs, and you've been watching Snews News.